So the Linux, how Linux came? So Linus Torvald. So he studied in 1991. He studied in one of the university. His mentor is asking to create a new OS. So he created as a Minix OS. So based on the Unix. So based on the Unix. So Minix having some limitations. He overcome those limitations and created a new OS. So he's thinking like need to put the name for the a new OS. So he took he took first four letters from his name and last letter from the Unix. Then he created as a Linux OS. Then he created as a Linux OS. Now understood, guys? So how Linux came? So and he released as a open source. He released as a open source. Open source means, guys, tell me. So there are 2 points. Open source means 2 points. One is free of cost, and second one is a source code also available. Source code also available, guys. So free of cost means it's freely available, and source code also available. So this is most important. Source code means how he developed the Linux OS. So how he developed the Linux OS, something like a, so with the help of a C or C++, a programming language. So programming language, the programs, the software programs, how he developed Linux OS, something like the so code, code of the Linux OS. So this is also freely available. If the code is available, for example, I have a Facebook, something like a code. So I have a Facebook code. So I take this code and so modified as something like so wherever the Facebook is there, so I replaced it to book face. I replaced it to book face and I released as a book face website. So because of the source code, whatever the book face a Facebook source code, I have the source code. I took that source code and I replaced as a Facebook as a book face and I released as a book face. So that is the advantage. So if I have the source code, I can modify whatever I want. I can modify whatever I want. Guys, now you understood, right? Hello?
Quick question: is there any
Yeah.
way you can use a different? The one you're using today is kind of, it's hard to see. The only one you can use like the one we're using last time, so we're able to see what you're writing.
Sorry?
I said it's hard to see what you're writing. Can you use the one you were using last time? Because this one you're using right now, it's hard to see what you're writing on the screen.
Yeah, yeah. So this is so last time I something like I used as a keyboard. Now I am using the
Oh, okay.
pen pad. Okay. Yeah. So something like a Linux OS released as a open source. Released as a open source. So the Linus Torvald released as a open source. So I have the source code. I can modify whatever I want. Same like as a companies. Same like as a companies. Something like IBM. IBM company took the source code and created their own OS called AIX Linux OS. AIX Linux OS. AX Linux OS. Which Linux they created? AX Linux. So IBM that source code. IBM took the source code and created AX Linux OS. The source code and created their own OS and released as a AIX Linux OS. Same like as a HP also. Sorry. Same like as a HP. HP also took that source code, took that whatever the Linux source code, took that source code and created as a took the source code and created as a so HP UX Linux OS. So what is the OS? HP UX Linux OS. Something like a Oracle company. Oracle company took that source code and created as a Oracle Linux OS. The same way Red Hat Inc. So Red Hat Inc. took that source code and created three types of OSs: Fedora, CentOS, Red Hat. So Fedora Linux OS and CentOS Linux OS and Red Hat Linux OS. And so IBM took the source code and created a AX Linux OS. HP took the source code and created their own OS and released as a UX Linux OS. So Oracle also took that source code and created as a Oracle Linux OS. Same like as a Red Hat also, Red Hat Inc. also, Red Hat Inc. company also took that source code and created three types of OSs. So same like as a so Debian also. Debian took that source code, created as a Ubuntu. Ubuntu, Ubuntu Linux OS. Ubuntu Linux OS. Sun also took that source code and created as a Solaris Linux OS. Solaris Linux OS. Same like as a SUSE Linux, Debian, SUSE Linux, FreeBSD Linux. So everything took the source code, took the source code, took the source code, and created their own type of Linux. Guys, tell me, IBM took the source code and created their own OS like as a AIX. Guys, tell me. So what is the IBM created the OS, Linux OS?
AIS,
A-
AIX. So HP took the source code and created their own OS called as a
US, US,
UX, UX Linux OS. So Oracle took the source code and created their own OS called as a
Oracle,
Oracle Linux.
Oracle,
Red
yes.
Hat INC, Red Hat INC took that source code and created their own OS like as a Fedora, CentOS, Red Hat. Guys, tell me, Fedora, CentOS, Red Hat. So Fedora, CentOS, Red Hat. So and Debian took the source code and created their own OS called as a. Guys, tell me which OS this is?
Ubuntu.
Ubuntu. Ubuntu. Sun company also. Sun company also took the source code and created their own OS called as a. Their own OS called as a. Guys, tell me what is this OS? Solaris.
Solaris,
Solaris
Solaris.
Linux, SUSE Linux, FreeBSD Linux, every Linux OS. So it comes from the Linux OS. It comes from the source code of the Linux. Guys, now you understood?
yes,
Yeah. So the line so it took from the source code, right? The core functionality, the core features of the all the OSs is same. The core features, the commands, whatever the commands we are using in the Linux. So the all these commands work in the all the flavors of the OS. But in this course we are learning the Red Hat Inc. Red Hat Inc. company created OSs, CentOS, Red Hat, Fedora. So everything. These all are the same family. If you learn anything, if you learn anything, so it easy to understand. It easy to understand. Something like what we are learning in this course, something like a CentOS and Red Hat. So guys, which OS we are learning?
Red.
CentOS and Red Hat. Guys, tell me. CentOS and Red
yes,
Hat. CentOS and Red Hat. So yeah. So whatever the commands we are using in the CentOS Red Hat, the same commands will be using our Oracle also. So Oracle copy the code and created the OS. So whatever the commands we are using in the CentOS Red Hat, it will be same Oracle Linux also. If you learn the CentOS Red Hat, it easily, so the same command, every command will be same on the Oracle Linux also. So it will be maybe a slight difference between the Ubuntu, UX, AX. But it easily is it, so if you learn any Linux, if you learn any Linux CentOS Fedora, it easy to understand every Linux. But in the real time environments, all the companies are mostly using a CentOS, a Red Hat. Something like 80% of people are using CentOS and Red Hat. So remaining 10% are using Ubuntu, so remaining 10% are using all the OSs. All the OSs. All the OSs. Guys, understood? Yeah. So which Linux we are learning? Something like a Red Hat company, Red Hat INC, Red Hat INC provided Fedora, CentOS, Red Hat. So these are the Linux OS, Linux OSs, Red Hat INC, Linux OSs. So they started the version something like 2. So Red Hat CentOS 2, CentOS 3, CentOS 4, CentOS 5, CentOS 6, CentOS 7, CentOS 8. Red Hat 3, Red Hat 4, Red Hat 5, Red Hat 6, Red Hat 7, Red Hat 8. The present version of the Red Hat and CentOS is, guys tell me, present version of the present version of the Red Hat and CentOS is 8. So in this course we are learning 6, 7, 8, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So these three versions are same, but just a slight difference between the commands from 6 to 7, 6 to 7, but 7, 8 are both the versions are same, but they included the some of the modules: Ansible, Docker, Ansible, Docker. You don't know, right? What is Ansible, what is Docker? So going forward, you will also understand these tools. Yeah. So now which OS, guys? We are learning CentOS and Red
CentOS.
Hat. So what is the version? CentOS 7. CentOS 7. Guys, which version we are learning? CentOS 7, Red Hat 7. So this is the flavor of the OS, flavor of the OS. So this is the version of the OS, version of the OS. So this is the flavor of the OS. Guys, understood? So which OS we are learning in this course? Guys, tell me. Guys, which OS?
CentOS 7 and Red Hat
CentOS,
7.
CentOS 7 and Red Hat 7. So CentOS 7 and Red Hat 7. So Red Hat 7. Something like so where we can install this OS. Just tell me. So where we can install this OS. So Linux OS is popular for single user operating system or multi-user operating system, guys. So Linux OS is popular for a single user operating system or multi-user operating system. So Linux is popular for a multi-user operating system. Multi-user operating system. Multi-user operating system means, so we will install this on a server hardware. In the server hardware, so we are installing this OS. The server hardware, so we are installing this Linux OS. This Linux OS. So guys, how many of the guys are watched that recording, the two recordings? So you guys are not following, I think. So multi-user operating system. So multi-user operating system is so for specifically designed for the so multi-user something like in the environment. The environment. Guys, now you understood, right? So where we need to install the Linux OS, the multi-user operating system. Multi-user operating system. Yeah. So something like I already told you, right? So this is the a physical Dell Power Edge R710. So this is the model of a physical hardware. Physical hardware. Something like a so you are the end user. You are the end user. So this is the physical hardware. This is the hardware. So this is the a user. So how we can interact with this hardware? So user so directly interact with this hardware, guys. User directly interact with this hardware.
Operating system.
No, no. So the hardware. So this is the hardware. Hardware are a computer. So user directly interact with this hardware without OS.
No.
No. So because of user knows English, computer knows
Binary language.
binary language. So that's the reason. So how we can interact with this OS with the help of how we can interact with this hardware with the help of OS. So which OS we are installing? CentOS
CentOS.
7. So how we can interact with this hardware? So by installing the CentOS 7 OS, then we can interact with this hardware. To interact with this hardware, right? Something like environment. Environments. Guys, do you know how many environments are there? Do you know, guys, how many environments are there? For example, so this is a bike. For example, guys, I'm not a good dryer. So this is the bike. For example, so this bike in the this how we can purchase this bike in the showroom, right? In the showroom. So before this come to the market, so before it will be a so it will be a testing before there will be a testing something like how much kilometers, how much mileage. So is it working fine or not? So everything will be testing. So before testing, guys, a development or design. First we need to develop that bike. Then we can test. Then we can go to the production or market. Guys, how many environments are there? For example, these are the environment: development environment, testing environment, and the production environment. So same like as a application also. Same like as a application also. So there will be a non-production and production environment. So non-production and production environment. So non-production environment. Guys, non-production means something like a production environment. So production environment, a business impact. So why business impact? Something like a revenue generation. Revenue a generation. So production environment. So production environment as a business impact. So why business impact? For example, Facebook is the a website. Facebook is the website. How business impact? How revenue generation? Something like a ads, right? So when we open the Facebook or anything, something like it will be a ads or a YouTube. So something like, for example, what is the business hours? So what is the business hours day? Hours, guys. So for example, 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. or something like a 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. So 10 p.m. 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. The people are using the Facebook website. So after 10 p.m. slowly it will be decreasing the slowly it will be decreasing the using of this website. For example, at 2 and 3 a.m. So every day 2 to 3 a.m. the people log into the website is people using to the website is very less. The people using to the website is very less. So that is a non-business hours. So business hours and non-business hours, something like whenever we are waking up wake up and so the day is nothing but a normal day is nothing but a business hours. So night is nothing but a non-business hours. So day is nothing but a business hours, and night is nothing but a non-business hours. So for example, you guys got any message from something like a bank? There is a maintenance window from 10 p.m. to 3 p.m., 3 a.m. Something like you got the messages, guys. Anytime, guys. Hello.
Hello?
Yeah. So did you get them any messages from the bank or something like so the maintenance window? So maintenance. So tomorrow is a maintenance on the something like application. So the internet banking is not working for the something like a 10 p.m. to something like a 12 a.m. So you got the messages anytime?
No?
No.
No? Yes.
So so something like a business hours. So business hours, your sleep time is a non-business hours. So something like your wake up, so a daytime is a business hours. So in the daytime, if production, if we production goes down, so definitely revenue, there will be a revenue impact. There will be a revenue impact. So non-production. So non-production, how many environments are there? Something like dev environment, development environment, QA environment, SAT environment, UAT environment, pre-production, pre-production environment. So what are the environments? A dev environment, QA environment, staging, UAT, pre-production. So dev means the development environment. So dev means development environments. QA means quality analysis. QA environment for testing purpose. So these are also pre-production means like as a production. So production like setup is nothing but a pre-production. So UAT means user acceptance test, and SAT means staging. So these all are the non-production environment and production environment. So non-production environment. So non-production environment, so who are using? So the in the company people are using. Is there any impact, business impact? No, there is no business impact. So because of who are impacting? If something goes wrong, who are impacting? A development team, or QA team, or say a SAT team. Okay, guys. So now you understood the environments, a non-production and production environment. So production is nothing but a live. Whatever you are using in the end user, whatever the end user uses the application, that is the production environment. So non-production means a development environment and QA environment, staging, UAT, and pre-production. These are the non-production and production. These are the non-production and production. Now you got it, guys? Understood the environments? Guys, understood?
Yes, but it's actually like hard to take notes because of the cruise you're using. You know, it's, so most of the things on the screen, like it's hard to understand what you write, what you're writing.
You are not understanding, right?
I'm understanding what you're saying, but when it comes to writing it down, because I like to write my stuff down, but
Hmm.
it's kind of all over the place, so.
Yeah. Yeah. 1 second.
Like
I will do
last time, it was much better, but this time
okay.
today, yeah,
Something like
yes,
environ environments. So environments will be a two type. Environments will be a two type. So one is product non-production,
Non-production,
non-production and
production,
production. So non-production, production. So in the non-production, how many environments are there, guys? Development ENV, QA ENV, staging ENV, UAT ENV, and pre-prod. So this is also a shortcut name for non-production and non-prod. The shortcut name for the non-production, non-prod. We can call it as a non-prod. Something like the other name for the production, short form of the production called as a prod. Which environment? Prod environment. Prod environment. So prod means alive. Prod means alive. Live environment. So production environment, there will be a business impact. So business impact. So if the business impact comes, so there will be a revenue generation. A revenue. So revenue generation means money generation. If something like live server, live production, something like so we have a server. So we have a server. So something like installed a CentOS 7 and we deployed our code. So this is the code. Is the code. Something like this is the web server called Tomcat web server. So we deployed our code in the production servers. So end user. So end user means our we are using Facebook, WhatsApp, whatever the website we are seeing in the something like the facebook.com. So if you click the facebook.com, so it searches where our website is deployed. For example, this application is deployed on. For example, this application is deployed on. Yeah. So you are the end user. So whenever we hit the facebook.com, it comes here and searches and so get the pages from here. Get the pages from here. It searches where the code is deployed. It searches and it gets from the here through which protocol, guys? I already told you, right? HTTPS, hypertext transfer protocol. So you get the Facebook page. You get the Facebook page. For example, this is a hardware, right? So this is a Dell Power Edge, R710 or 610, 710, whatever it is. So this is a hardware. Definitely there will be something like a hardware is crashing. For example, hardware crash. So if the hardware crash, are you able to access the site, guys?
no,
No. It's showing what it's showing, something like site cannot be
Reach.
reached. So that time there will be a problem. So there will be a problem, and so that time there will be a business impact, right? So definitely business impact. Why business impact? The ads are running on the Facebook. So if the Facebook is down, ads are also not running, right? So that time there will be a definitely business impact, a revenue generation. So revenue will be also impacting. Revenue also impacting. So that's the reason production servers. So production servers. So will live at any time. So it will be live at any time. It will be live at any time. Something like a, now you guys understood business impact. So that's the reason. I already told you, right, guys, something like a WhatsApp 1.0, WhatsApp 2.0, WhatsApp, WhatsApp 3.0. So something like the initially starts with the chat and contacts. So the in the second version they started a status. In the third version they started a they started a something like a video calling and voice calling. So I want to deploy a new code, something like a so initially it will be the WhatsApp 1.0 code. So first deployed a WhatsApp 1.0. So and the developers so feature enhance the feature as status. How we can deploy the a new feature. How we can deploy the new feature. So the new feature will be deployed on the new feature will be available on the WhatsApp 2.0 only. So how we can deploy it? So how we can deploy it means, so something like we need to stop the Tomcat. So we need to stop the Tomcat, and we need to remove this. We need to stop the Tomcat, remove this, and copy it on the copy the new code. Copy the new code. Whatever the new code is available, WhatsApp 2.0. So I need to copy this new code. I need to copy this new code. So first we need to stop the Tomcat. Once we stop the Tomcat, the site cannot be reached. That's the site cannot be reached. So it will be doing a non-business hours. The maintenance. This is nothing but a maintenance. Maintenance. This is nothing but a maintenance. So when we will do the maintenance, a non-business hours. So non-business hours. So non-business hours, they will do the maintenance. So maintenance is nothing but a, so we can stop the service and remove the old code and copy the new code, then start the Tomcat. Start the Tomcat. So after starting the Tomcat, so the new code will be affecting, and the status will shows on the shows on the production. Approach shows on the live environment. Shows on the live environment. So this is nothing but a maintenance. This is nothing but a maintenance. Guys, a release or a deployment. So what is the releases and deployments? So release nothing but so we are releasing from 1.0 to 2.0. So what is the release? A release having a added the status. And so we have another release, something like after 1 month or 2 months, the developer develop the code for 3.0, that is a voice calling. Again, so we are doing the maintenance in the when we will do the maintenance in the non-business hours. So non-business hours we will do the maintenance. In that maintenance, we will deploy our new code. So deploy our new code. So deploy our new code. So this is nothing but a maintenance and release and deployments. So release and deployments is nothing but so we are moving from a older version to a newer version. So moving from newer version to older version. So definitely there will be a change between 1 and 2. There will be a change. Definitely there will be a change between 1 and 2. So here, So there is only chat and contacts, but 2.0, developers added a feature called as a status. So how we can how we can get the end users the new feature? So definitely we need to deploy and we need to release this new version. So we need to deploy a new version in the web server. So then only end user uses the new feature. Then only uses the a new feature. Now you got it, guys. So what is maintenance? So maintenance is nothing but a, so we can release a new version, we can deploy a new version. So definitely, so the new, if you want to deploy a new version, so definitely we will do it on a non-business hours. So what is the non-business hours? So non-business hours will be, so whenever the people are not using that website. So mostly the people are not using the website from 12 a.m to, so 12 a.m to 6 a.m, the sleeping, that is the non-business hours. Our sleep time is the non-business hours. So that is sleep time. Most of the peoples are not using the not using that a live site. They're not using the website. That time, so every deployment, not a Facebook, not a WhatsApp, not a something like a banking sectors, not a insurance. Every domain. So there will be a maintenance window. In that when we will do the maintenance window, so definitely in the non-business hours. Non-business hours, the releases that the deployments will be doing. In the maintenance window, they do the releases and deployments. They do the releases and deployments. Guys, now I got it.
Yes.
Yes, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So development environment. So development environment only uses the, who uses the development environment? For example, so in our company, in our module, three development people are using. How many people are using? Three development people are using. Three development people are using this development environment. If something goes wrong, on the development environment means, for example, one server is keep it in the development environment. So if they are writing whenever they are writing the code, they will be tested. So whenever they are writing in the code, so this is the code. Sorry. So this is the code. So this code will be tested on the which environment? They will be testing on the first development environment. So development environment. So if looks good in the development environment, next QA environment. So if something goes wrong on this server, this hardware, so is there any business impact?
No.
Guys, is there any business impact here?
No.
No.
No. So because of the, so these people, these three people only affecting. But if the production is goes down, who are impacting? So how many users are accessing this Facebook at a time? Lakhs, crores of people are using, right? The end users, crores of people are using the Facebook, live Facebook. But this is only using only internal development team. If something goes wrong on this server, is there any business impact? No. So non-production
No.
environment, there is no business impact. There is no business
Business impacts.
no business impact. Now, you guys, so where the business impact comes, so in the end user production environment, there will be a business impact. So non-production environment, there is no business impact. So there is no business impact, right? So whenever they want, they can stop it and they can deploy it. They can stop it and deploy it. They can test it and deploy it and test it, deploy it. So whenever they want. So because of this is not a live. This is not a live. This is not a live. This is a internal environment. So non-production. That's the reason non-production environment, a production environment. So in the non-production environment, development environments also there, QA environment also there, non-staging, UAT, pre-prod. So these are the non-production environment. So these environments are varies from company to company. These environments are varies from company to company. These environments are vary to company. Some companies are using development QA and pre-prod. Some companies are using development QA and UAT. Some companies are using development QA staging. So it varies from company to company. So it varies from company to a company. Guys, now you got it. A non-production and production environment. So non-production and production environment. Next. So next. Something like, so I have a Dell PowerEdge server. I have a Dell PowerEdge server. So this is my physical server. I bought this server. Dell PowerEdge server. Dell PowerEdge R710 server. So this is my physical server. And so I want to interact with the server. So how we can interact? So with the, so if we install the OS, then only we can interact this server. Yeah, interact this server. So I created a website, for example, a Facebook or something like. This is the website, adult code, Facebook code, Facebook code. So I got this server, something like I bought this server, and so this server will be keeping in my house. This server will be keeping in the my house, and I deployed the code, and I released in the market. I released in the something like a market. So this is my website, facebook.com. Facebook.com. In our house. In our house. In our house. So definitely if we want to see this website, if you want to access this website, definitely we need, guys, definitely what we need. So where we are searching in our website, facebook.com, the browser. So if you don't know the internet, so are you accessing this website? No, definitely we need a internet, right? Guys, we need a internet. Yeah. So how we can start this? How we can start this? So how we can start this? A server. Definitely we need a power. Definitely we need a power. We need a power. We need a power for start the server. Power. Something like in my house, I have only one internet. I have only one internet and one power backup. I have only one power backup. Something like I bought the server. I bought the server, and I keep it as in the my home, my house, and I deployed the code, and released in the facebook.com. Released as a facebook.com. Something like the facebook.com. So the website is good. It is easy to access. So every day people are accessing. Every day people are accessing, something like people are sign up every day. 5,000 people are signing up. 5,000 people are signing up. Sign up the account. Something like so 1 week, something like a, so 5,000 into 5,000 into 7 equal to, so 35,000. So in 1 week, 35 is so 35,000 people are accessing our website. So in the 7 days, in between the 7 days, there is no internet failure, no internet failure, and there is no power failure. So there is no power failure. So if internet fails, the site will be accessing or not. So if internet goes down, so the site will be accessing or not, guys. If there is no internet on this machine, so are you able to access this server? Are you able to access this website?
No.
No. Site cannot. If you click on this, so site cannot be reached. So the internet failure is It will occur every 1 hour. Every 1 hour, so the internet will goes down. So the people 35,000 people are accessing, and they are facing every 1 hour they are facing site cannot be reached. They are irritating. They are irritating. And so the power also, there is no power backup. There is no UPSs, there is no generators. So that time every 2 hours, for example, every 2 hours, power goes down. Power goes down. So that time also the site will be, so some site will be cannot be reached. So these 35 people are irritating with the site cannot be reached. So internally it will be a every 1 hour the internet will be goes down and came up. So every 2 hours the power goes down and came up. So that time the site cannot be reached. So they are irritating and they are so decreasing the people. So decreasing the people something like every day 3,000 people. Every day 3,000 people. So they are not accessing the sites. So 3,000 into 7. 3,000 into the 7. 3,000 equal to 7. So 21,000 people are. So that 21,000. So before 35,000 people are using. So after that 21,000 people are not using this website because of, guys tell me. So because of a, internet and power failures, because of internet and power failures. Power failures. For example, if I keep the server in my house, so there will be a problem with the internet and power. I need a I need a resolution for this. I need a solution for this. So what is the solution, guys? I need a solution for this. So what is the solution? What is the solution? So what is the solution? So I'm thinking like I'm searching for the who are providing the, is there any solution, is there any solution, is there any solution that the so that provides any is there any company so that solutions will be resolved on this? Yes, there will be a company. Some of the companies are there are some of the companies are they are providing so internet backup and power backup. So there will be a 10 times of internet backup, there will be a 10 times of power backup. If switch goes to something like one of the internet, that will go to Airtel, that will go to Vodafone, that will goes to, that will switch to automatically. So that will switch to automatically. So the number of internets and power also, something like if power goes down, so it will switch to the UPSs. If switch UPSs goes down, it will switch to the generators. If something one generator goes down, another it will switch to the automatically, it will switch to the another generator. The solution on, so some of the companies are providing that solution. So the so those companies name it called as a DC, data center. Guys, data centers. So did you guys had heard about the data centers?
Yes.
Yeah. So data centers. So what they are providing? So they are providing a rental space. They are providing a rental space to keep our server. They are providing a rental space for keeping our servers. Yeah. I got the space for that. I got the space for this. So I got the space for this for the, in the rent in the data center. What they providing? They're providing a rental space for to keep our server and our so server in the data center. To keep our server in the data center. So this is our server. This is our service. What they are providing? They are providing 99.99% of high availability. What they are providing? They are providing 99.999% 99% of high high availability. So 99.9% high availability, durability, everything they will provide. So what is this, guys? A data centers. Data centers. For example, in India, so there will be a control data center. Guys, so this is the control-less data centers. So control-less data centers. Control-less data center. This is the data center. How they are providing the rentals? So data centers providing the racks. Data center racks. You see, guys. So these are the racks. For example, so this is the racks. So they are providing the rental space for the racks. So whatever you want to keep the servers, you can keep it here. You can keep it here. Yeah, for example. So these are the racks. These are the racks. So if you want to keep our server into the data center, you can buy the rental space. You can buy the rental space for the rack, for the rack. Something like this is a Dell PowerEdge server. Our Dell PowerEdge R710 server. Yeah. So you guys see. So this is the a big server. This is the big server. So we need to keep this server. We need to keep this server into the this data center. Now you see. So these are the servers. These are the servers. So where we need to keep our servers, we need to keep our servers in the data center. Then we can deploy our application in this server. So what they will provide 99.99% of high availability. 99.99 availability, 999% of availability. So because of that only, so we are moving our server. We are keeping our servers into the data centers. We are keeping our servers into the data centers. Guys, now you got it. So whatever the environment, either production environment or non-production environment, will be keep it under a data center. Data center. Guys, understood? Guys,
Yes.
yes, understood, right?
Yes.
So why the people are not responding, guys? Are you able to understand or not? So understand, right? So why we are keeping our servers into the data center? So why the data center came? So the data center data center people are providing 99% of high availability. They are providing the internet backup, power backup. In our home, so there is only one internet backup, there is only one power backup. That's the reason. So that is the reason we are not keeping our servers into our local environment or company. So where we need to deploy our where we need to keep our servers, we need to keep our servers in the data center. So data center environment is nothing but the another name is called as a on premises. What is that? On premises or a data center environment. So data center environment or a on premises environment. On premises environment. Guys, now you understood the concept of data centers and environment. Yeah. For example, I bought the physical server, a CentOS 7, install the CentOS 7 on this CentOS 7 mission on this something like a Dell Power Edge R710. So this is the physical server. So what is the configuration? Guys, you know, right? Configuration. What is the configuration? RAM, something like 128 GB. RAM, 128 GB. CPUs, something like a 20 CPUs. Something like a HDD, hard disk. Hard disk is something like a 3 TB hard disk. So because this much of the big server, right? The CPU, RAM and hard disk will be high. For example, if it is a production, definitely we need this much resources. This name call it as a resources. So what is the resources for the Dell PowerEdge? RAM 128 GB, CPU 20 GB, hard disk 3 TB. Hard disk 3P. So these are the resources. So these are the resources. So what are the resources? RAM, CPU, hard disk. So RAM, this much of this much of resources will be using on the production environment. So production environment. So because of the lack of the people are using, but in the non-production environment. So non-production environment. So before that, so where we keep this server, this case server will keep it in the data center. You keep it in the data. Guys, no one words. What is DC? DC is nothing but a guys. DC is nothing but
Data center.
data center. Yeah. So data center. So we are keeping our server in the data center. Before keeping this under, definitely we need to board this server. So for example, something like a so for buying a 5 lakhs or something like a 25,000 $25,000 buying the server. So I want to keep the server in the data center, right? Definitely we need to pay the money for the data center also. So data center also taking the 25,000 $25,000 per 1 year. So if you want to keep this server and run this server, definitely we need a $50,000 per year. $50,000 per year. So if it is a production, definitely there will be a revenue generation, income will be there. Definitely we need to buy and keep the server in the data center. It is good for a production server. If it is a good for a production server. For example, I need a production server. I need a physical server. I need a physical server. Something like so I will keep here the same. So this is also a server, a Dell PowerEdge. So Dell PowerEdge server. So I want to use. So this is for the production. So this is for the production. So this is for the non-production. Non-production, especially Dev. So Dev is the environment. How many people are using this server? Only 3 people are using this server. 3 people are using this server. So do we need this much amount of CPU, this much amount of RAM, this much amount of hard disk? Do we need,
No.
guys? No
No.
need. No need. But we need to pay for 50,000 per non-production also. 50,000 per non-production also. So is there any way to reduce the cost? Is there any way to reduce the cost for the non-production? Yes. So there is a innovation. There is a innovation comes into the picture. A big thought, a big innovation comes into the picture. So it will be reduced as a 90% of the cost. It will be a big innovation. So a big innovation comes into the picture. 90% of cost reduces from here to here. So what is the solution? The solution is guys, what is the solution? Virtualization. Virtualization. So virtualization is the concept. Virtualization is the concept. It will reduces the cost from cost from cost from 50,000 to 5,000. 50,000 to 5,000. How? So there will be a solution called a virtualization. So virtualization is nothing but a bare metal software. Bare metal software. So bare metal software. So what is a bare metal software? So something like your Android OS. Android OS. Your Android OS. So how Android OS made up with the Linux? Your Android OS made up with the Linux. Something like a so in bottom. So there will be a OS. There will be a OS and it attached the software. What is the software? Android software attached to the Linux. On top of it, so Linux OS took the Linux OS and created their own software and released as a so released as a Android. So that is nothing but a Android. Android. So Android OS is nothing but a So they created a they took the Linux OS, so they created their own software and combined it and released as a Android OS. So that is nothing but a bare metal software. So that is nothing but a bare metal software. So virtualization also a solution. So in top of a bottom of a Linux is created. A Linux took the Linux and created their own virtualization concept. So that is they released as a virtualization. They released as a virtualization. So who are providing the virtualization solutions? So VMware, the companies are VM, VMware company and Oracle virtual virtual machine. So these two are the companies. These two are so many are there. So for example, these two are VMware. VMware is the company. They created a virtualization. So Oracle virtual machine is the software. Something like VMware. Yeah. So VMware is the solution for the virtualization. Same like as a Oracle also provided the solution Oracle virtual machine. They are also created for the virtual. Yeah. So Oracle also created the virtual boxes. Oracle also designed for the virtual machine. Virtual machine. So something like this is the software. So this is the software. For example, so we can download the Oracle virtual machine. So this is also a like as a OS because of it included the Linux OS, right? Took the Linux OS and the software and released as a VMware software. For example, it is a Oracle virtual machine. So now we installed a OVM. OVM OVM so OVM OS. OVM a software. So OVM software, so it includes the OS also. So it includes the OS also. So now we are interacting with this. We are interacting with this server. So based on that resources, so we can divide it into a multiple parts. So we can divide it into multiple parts. Multiple parts. For example, for installing the OVM virtualization, it took the RAM of 2 GB or something like it, 2 GB RAM and CPU 1 CPU, and it takes hard disk capacity only 8 GB. So for installing this OS, it took this much of amount of resources, and he telling after that. So he's telling them like that. So whatever the remaining resources you can use. You can use that resources and you can install the OSs, number of OSs, whatever you want. So something like so this is also installed a CentOS 7. So here I installed a Red Hat 7. Here I installed a Windows. Here I installed a Mac OS. So here I installed a something like Oracle Linux 7. So what virtualization concept? So we can install the virtualization software and whatever the resources we have. So we can take the resource and we can create the number of OSs. So we can create the number of OSs. For this purpose, we took the something like how much of a RAM hard disk for a development environment. So RAM, I need something like a 4 GB of RAM is enough. 4 GB of RAM is enough. CPU, 2 CPU is enough. Something like hard disk, 20 GB hard disk is enough. Or 30 GB hard disk is enough. So for installing a development server purpose, we need this much of RAM, CPU, hard disk. So again, same for this Red Hat, Windows, so Mac, Oracle. For example, 10 OSs installed on this machine. How many? 10 of OS 10 OSs installed on this machine. For example, here 50,000 per server per OS. So compared to a big innovation thought, a virtualization here 5,000 per server. 5,000 per server. It will be cost reducing 90%. So only 10% it uses. So that's the reason a big innovation thought comes a virtualization. So virtualization. Guys understood?
Yes.
Yes. So virtualization. So most of the people are using virtualization. So virtualization concept in the data center. Same like as we need to keep our servers in the data center, but we installed so we installed we installed a virtualization. We installed a virtualization here. So and we can divide the parts of the number of parts of the part of the server, and we can install the whatever we want. We can install the whatever we want. So this part is called as a VM. This part is called as a VM, virtual machine. So virtual machine. So virtual machine. Virtual machine. So virtual machine. So virtual machine. Something like a virtual machine. CentOS 7 virtual machine, Red Hat 7 virtual machine. So this is not a physical. This is the virtual. VM is nothing but a virtual machine. This is the physical. PM is nothing but a physical machine. So this is the PM physical machine. This is the virtual machine. Logically created the 10 servers. Logically created the 10 servers in the virtual machine. Who are providing the solution? A VMware and a Oracle virtual machine. Oracle virtual machine. Now, so so for example, your laptop is a data center. For example, your laptop is a data center.